Women roles back in the 1920s were very limited. Roles given to the typical woman were having supper served, maintaining a clean home, and ensuring the children were taken care of. The freedom of a woman was not allowed, much less having permit women to become a man's intellectual equal. They could not drink, smoke, vote, have their own business, go to college, or pursue any educational career. Having women with liberty would be considered a threat to the men of the era.
The traditional women in the 1920s were expected to be ladylike and charming at all times. They were to always be properly dressed with their hair up in a bun and covered with a large hat. Women had to please their husbands at all times as well as any guests. Most men in those times reasoned a woman's place to be at home and inferior to men.
While the Roaring Twenties is known for many things, the famous flappers of the 1920s are the decade's most beautiful and vivid. From the short dresses to dance crazes of the era, flappers made their mark as the new woman of the modern world. With lipstick was the embellishment of the flapper girl with her dark bob hair, her cigarettes, her whiskey, her flapper dress, and her brash attitude.
Flapper was a word to describe a certain group of women in the 1920s. These women were identified by their style of dressing and love of jazz music. They would wear their hair in a short bob-style cut, short skirts, and their love of dancing to jazz music. Helen Kane was a well-known female artist from the 1920s. She is best known for her song called I Wanna Be Loved by You, which was later resung by Marilyn Monroe. Helen Kane was the woman who Betty Boop was modeled after. Flapper women lived a type of liberation going against the grain of society's norm. Flapper women created their freedom of expression through music.
Ragtime, blues, and jazz were rising, all composed from the African American community. Even though ragtime and blues were popular, jazz was the ultimate type of music flappers loved. Unlike the other popular music of the day, jazz was considered an evil influence on Americans' young people. With its offbeat rhythms, jazz was blamed for drunkenness.
Because of Flapper's daring and courage to be themselves, we have more freedoms today. They face the wrath and anger of society for their right to be equal and free. Following in their steps, women from later generations could find their own courage and be free to enjoy everything in life.